Welcome to the Making You, an accurate reflection of Christ podcast, where you become translucent glory. Now here's your host and glory teacher, Karen Pina.
Kingdom greetings. In episode 2, you learned that operating in heavenly success will require flexibility and a lot of sacrifice. Also, you learned that despite how difficult an individual may be or how tough the situation may be, as an apostolic vessel, you must complete heaven's assignment. Guess what? You have the equipment. That's right. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are Maura, and all the earth's inhabitants should fear you and your glorious self. In this episode, I will share a dream to reinforce the state of the marketplace, as well as to challenge you to be a heavenly success agent in action. On February 2nd, 2021, I had a dream that I was at some sort of a party. It's like a house party, and I was there assisting the host. I was laying out all the food for the guests. You see, the food I was laying out was a hamburger salad. The hamburger meat was separate from the salad itself. As I was preparing the food for serving, I began making suggestions to the host. For example, I communicated that the salad was overdressed. I mean, there was way too much dressing for the salad. So I offered the host this suggestion. Perhaps the next time you serve this hamburger salad, the dressing should be placed on the side. She simply stared at me. I said, "Look, this salad is swimming in dressing." She walked away. As I continued to prepare the food for serving, I noticed the hamburger meat was cooked at all different temperatures. Once again, I mentioned it to the host. I did so by showing her some of the meat on the separate platter. I showed her that some of the pieces of the meat were well done all around the edges of the patty, but in the middle, it was raw. I showed her that some of the other pieces of the meat were well done all around the entire patty as well as in the middle. I showed her that some of the other pieces of meat was medium well. She looked at me very annoyed and replied like this: "I didn't cook any of the food. I ordered it from somewhere." I responded like this: "That's even more reason to address it, since I'm sure you paid a pretty price for it." She did not respond. At this juncture, I stopped providing any additional feedback about the food because I sensed she did not want any feedback or suggestions. The dream ends. There will be times when you are conducting business and the Antichrist spirit does not want you to ask for or speak with a manager or a supervisor. This spirit operating through an individual who is in charge does not want you to give him or her any feedback or suggestions to improve the level of service or the company's products and services. Here is the challenge. Can you still meet heaven's need when others do not want improvement feedback from you? Will you be distracted and thrown off your spiritual game by difficult demonic hosts, thrown off by hostile or apathetic marketplace management, or be thrown off by customer opposition? The answers to these questions is unequivocally no. You shouldn't be manipulated out of Father's will for yourself and others. To illustrate how to circumnavigate demonic hosts, the spirit of the thief and the robber, aloof managers, and industry leaders, I will draw from a case study. Before I dive in, just a gentle reminder here that the majority of the Season 3 case studies are derived from our geographical ascension. If you listened to the last episode, you learned that this journey lasted for 9 months. During this time period, we placed offers on 4 homes, one of which we came extremely close to living in. When we saw the home, it included the things that would afford us the lifestyle change we believed God was leading us into. When you know what you pray, then you can just take immediate action when it shows up. Consequently, the next day, we saw the house online. We placed an offer on it. The seller's response was as such: "I will not sell my home without you seeing it first." I was unmoved and focused on heaven's will. I flew into the geographical location to see the house. As soon as I walked through the door, I was hit in the face with the smell of unclean spirits. This was very telling. After seeing it in person, we placed an offer on it. Then we proceeded to walk through the process. The home inspection revealed 4 things the house needed. The seller told the agent that these 4 things would not be done. "The house is being sold as is," the seller replied. I heard it, and once again, I was unmoved. I told our agent that we would get back to him in a few minutes. We hung up the phone with our agent. I went and stood in a glory spout, and I prayed violently in accordance with Matthew 11 and 12. Varasuva. I only prayed for about 5 to 7 minutes, but I prayed forcefully until I sensed the victory and the release. By the time I reached for the phone to get back to the agent, he was texting me. The text message read as follows: "The seller will fix the 4 things." Hallelujah. As you can see, the seller was not interested in improving anything. The seller had already made the desired improvements, such as blinged out appliances. Oh, the seller was what some, even the agent, would label as challenging and difficult. However, the smell that hit me in the face when I first walked into the house clued me in to the fact that I was dealing with unclean and spirits. I was not thrown off by the demonic host. Praying became the escort for the real estate transaction. The king's heart is in God's hand, and the more you have his heart and demonstrate it to others, the more he will turn the king's heart in your favor and toward his will to meet everyone's needs. You can't change people's minds, which can also be referred to as their heart, but he can. You do not have to be deterred by the manifestation of unclean spirits. Get your pen, get a pad, write this down. You do not have to descend to win. You can stay in ascension and simply not cater to subpar hamburger salad. As I shared in the Making book, no thank you. I don't want any mashed potatoes or lima beans. You can have them. You will just have to read about this account on page 104 in the book. The link is where it always is, in the show notes section of the episode. See that? I'm not interested in overdressed houses that I'm likening to overdressed salads. And I'm definitely not interested in poorly tempered improvements that I'm likening to undercooked hamburger in a salad. In the kingdom, it's not about serving up what appears to be a good sales transaction. It's about Psalm 25. That's right. Pretense must go. The season of superficiality is over. We, as heavenly success agents, are not catering to subpar hamburger salad. Karen Pina, your host, glory teacher, heavenly success, and ascension specialist, signing out until next time.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. To discuss and learn more about this episode, join your Glory community at www.gloryschoolcommunity.com. Finally, be sure to sign up for the RSS feed to know when the next episode is uploaded.